Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. I am Adam. We are live. We are back. This is United Daily Live, and we have got an action-packed show for you guys today. We are looking at the censorship of Manchester United supporters club, or one in particular in Mumbai, as one of the supporters club's presidents has stood down from his position following communications with people that work for the club. Ethan Laird and Tedam Mengi could be on the move, could be looking for loan deals before the domestic window closes. Bruno insists there are no issues with the manager. He insists there are no issues between him and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as well as Facundo Pellistri and Alex Telles meeting up with their teammates for the first time today. Obviously, a few of their teammates may have still been on international duty, but they met up with their teammates today, and they were at Carrington taking pictures, doing all that kind of stuff and getting involved in training. Alex Telles potentially making his debut for Manchester United on the weekend, and Facundo Pellistri as well. He's going to be involved in that first team squad, whether he comes off the bench, makes a start, whether he gets involved or not. But he could surprise us all and be involved on the weekend, which would be a nice surprise for all the Manchester United fans that want to see him in action. So we'll be looking at all those things here and any other latest bits of news that are popping up in the next 15-20 minutes of this United Daily Show. For those guys that are watching live and that have had to wait for me because I've been late, I do apologise for you guys. My Mac decided to update just as we were about to hit that start streaming button. It probably worked out for the best, because it would have been worse if it happened mid-stream. But nevertheless, here we are now. And if you're not watching live, thank you very much for tuning in. Anyway, make sure you subscribe. The first thing that we do on United Daily Live every single day is get in this On This Day book, which is by Mike Donovan. And we, of course, get a little bit of an On This Day. And today is 15th of October. And on the Saturday, the 15th of October, 1892, Newton Heath notched up double figures against Wolverhampton Wanderers in their first ever Football League victory. It is the 7th game of their debut campaign. They walloped Wolves 10-1 at home, with Robert Donaldson and William Stewart each hitting hat-tricks, while Adam Carson, Al Farman, James Hendry and William Hood complete the Heathens scoring. That was United's nickname when we were Newton Heath back in the day. But on this day in 1892, 128 years ago, Newton Heath notched up double figures against Wolves in their first ever Football League victory. 7th game of their debut. And how often on United shows do you hear the likes of former players from 1890s mentioned? Robert Donaldson and William Stewart, Adam Carson, Al Farman, James Hendry, and of course William Hood scoring on that day. Hat-tricks from Donaldson and Stewart. That is today's On This Day. Of course, we are going to get stuck into the latest news as well, as I just go over here to get the tablet so I can see all the guys' comments that are tuned in live, and make sure you keep your comments coming in as well. We'll try and read as many of them out as possible. Of course, I can't get through all of them, but we will try and read as many out as possible. First things first, let's get stuck into this story. Now, it revolves around Sunil Thakur. I actually know Sunil. I've met up with him a number of times at Old Trafford at various different games. He's jumped on fan cams before over the last, since I've been doing fan cams from the start. We always get representation from various supporters clubs around the world, various supporters clubs around India, and Sunil has been one of those that has always been involved with us on the fan channels whenever we've been involved outside the games and things like that, and he's always been involved in terms of other supporters from that supporters club coming to us. And he's the president of the first official Manchester United supporters club in Mumbai. Sunil Thakur announced his resignation from his post. He was unhappy with the way things were run at the club, and he felt like an agent that was being used just to sell One United memberships. Now, if you're unaware about what One United memberships are, One United memberships are memberships that every fan can get. I had a One United membership up until I had my season ticket. I've had my season ticket probably for about 8-9 years now, but before I had a season ticket, I had a membership. And that membership allows you to apply for games. Now, it used to work out quite well for me. I was part of the Birmingham Supporters Club, and me and my dad used to apply for every home game and we'd be lucky for most home games in the season. And obviously, memberships can be bought, but for supporters clubs around the world to be recognised as official supporters clubs, they have to have X amount of members, official members, paid up members to the club. I think you pay around £30 a season. It may be a little bit more now. I've not paid for a membership in a long time. So you pay up for a membership, and then if you have, let's say the number was 100 members, you can then become an official supporters club, and the club recognise you. They send you letters. When they're out in the country, they may send someone, Dennis Irwin, Dwight Yorker, a Manchester United legend or ex-player, to the supporters club to see them, meet them, etc. They get the ability to apply for tickets and potentially get tickets at a discounted rate. They get various benefits being a supporters club, but the benefit mainly goes to the club because they get these paid up members as part of their club that come together and watch the game. And obviously it's great for their PR around the world and those sort of things. But there can be unofficial supporters clubs that just link up, like you and your mates may do it at home, 10 of you, 20 of you. When we could meet up in large groups, you'd probably all meet up and you'd probably an unofficial supporters club. But if you were to then get more people and get people to pay up memberships with Man United, register yourselves, you become an official one. So that's what these supporters clubs are. If you don't get what a supporters club is or why they have a president, they have a president because they need someone to run the supporters club, deal with application for memberships, etc., etc. He also has a pub. That's what his job is, and that's where they watch the game. So it's a great community for United fans. And he announced his resignation on Twitter last week, I believe it was. And he shared screenshots of a conversation between him and the club. And it said 15 years of working and running, say working, it's an unpaid role, for the Manchester United Supporters Club of Mumbai. And it took 90 minutes for the club to remove my name from the website. We fans are just a statistic. I'm voluntarily stepping down from my voluntary position just to be able to voice my opinion because my supporters club cannot. Now this was prompted by an earlier altercation that they had in June when MUSC Mumbai, they shared a graphic that, funnily enough, Full Time Devils had made of Ed Woodward as the Joker, and they obviously said, that they weren't happy with the running of the club. Manchester United reached out to the supporters club at that time and said, delete this tweet, otherwise you will not have access to the ticketing services that you've had before and all your other benefits. So they were censoring that supporters club from voicing their opinion and saying, take your tweets down, otherwise you cannot go to my games. That is massive dictatorships going on right there. Utterly unbelievable with what you're seeing. Now, part of you can get it. The club don't want to be seen with someone that is voicing an opinion against the owner or the CEO or whoever. But there's a way in opening a dialogue with your supporters, opening a dialogue with your supporters club, opening a dialogue with these people that is seen as more constructive than destructive, and is seen as, you're seeing these people as people rather than just customers. You're seeing them as supporters rather than just customers, because that's how these people are being made to feel when you say delete your opinions and don't even mention them opinions. Now, I understand people in ticketing aren't going to be able to say, well, we'll get rid of Ed Woodward now. That's not what anyone's asking for. But they're moving like a dictatorship out here. In the email, Takor had mentioned how he felt like an agent whose only use was to sell One United memberships. He said in his email, I haven't been happy with the way our great club has been run. I don't think we've done enough to remain competitive. I don't want to continue being an agent for the club and help them selling One United memberships. They replied, we've removed you from the website as you mentioned you don't want to continue being an agent, which we take to mean your voluntary role connected to Mumbai MU. It's already a patronising tone that they're taking in this email immediately. We don't see supporters clubs organisers, the statement continued, as agents. We see them as fans for the love of the club who have chosen to bring fellow fans together through good times and bad. Now they're kind of subliminally hinting at you can't take the bad times. The bad times are caused by the people that are in charge. It all started in June when the official handle of the MUSC Mumbai took to Twitter and called for the sacking of club chief executive Ed Woodward. Over the years, Woodward and Glazers are seen as the ones who have been destroying the club's legacy. The tweet went viral, following which Tuchel was asked by the club to take down the tweet. Many Manchester United supporters have spoke in support for Tuchel on the micro-blogging site, which is Twitter, obviously. So that's this article on that. Now again, I say it again, you can't expect, someone in ticketing, someone in memberships, someone in supporters club liaisons to reply to this email and say, well, we'll sort, because then no one's expecting them to sort everything out, but there's a way you deal with your supporters. There's a way you have a dialogue with your supporters. And in this email that Sunil originally sent to the Manchester United, he also mentioned that obviously his business has been hit and he hasn't had any income since February and is unable to renew his membership. Now, United, if they cared about their fans as much, would probably say something like, well, we can keep you in your position, when you can, a membership. No one's expecting charity, no one's expecting this. But there's a way of dealing with that situation as well. That's not just, you can't afford it. Well, go fuck yourself then. Which again seems to be the attitude. And it's a patronising email that was sent back to him from the Manchester United Supporters Club email. Saying we've removed you from the website immediately, etc., etc. There's a way to deal with it. Now, I believe the head of ticketing then apologised and tried his best to blame this on individuals and dissolve the club, but damage is done and my disillusionment has only grown. This wasn't a negotiation anyway. Time to live with my decision. This will always be a fan. So obviously he's not saying I'm not going to support the club anymore. That's not what's happening here. But what we're seeing is a club that are unable to deal with disgruntled supporters, and rather than open up to them and rather than have a dialogue with them, have some communication, they'd rather shun those people or try to censor them. And that's what we're dealing with at the club. Now, I can talk about a number of occasions where I've seen this as well. I remember early on when we would get various opportunities with the club. We'd get shut off from them, from the club. I was supposed to do something with Chevrolet in America. I think it would have been like me and Rooney and Fletcher in a car or something. The club said no. We were supposed to do something with Google and Dwight York. The club said no. And we got removed from these lists, or we'd get added to press lists and we'd get removed. Now, in recent years, I think they've had a change in who deals with their social media kind of things. And when you see sponsors, so if we get something through a sponsor, so for example, if Chivas Regal invite us to something that they've paid, because they've got a sponsorship with the club, they've paid for it, we won't get blocked off from that because the club are answering to a sponsor. It's really weird how they act. But we've seen it ourselves. Andy Tate used to be a steward at the club. After his opinions were aired, he was sacked from his job as a steward at the stadium. We've seen it with other people that hold other roles. So whenever I see a United employee speak to us on camera, and I understand it from an employee because the club don't want employees going on big platforms speaking out against it. I can understand that, but supporters, it's nuts. But we've seen it before, and it will continue again. And I'm sure it's happened before. I'm sure there's various supporters clubs, and I remember speaking to, I can't remember. It was I spoke to one of the supporters clubs in those Q&As that I do on Instagram, and I remember saying to them, like, it's difficult to do anything. If we were to galvanise all the supporters clubs together and say, let's make a stand against the ownership or whatever, those supporters clubs lose all their benefits. So a lot of people in them positions won't want to do it, and you can totally understand that. Look, I'm not judging anyone if they didn't want to do what Sunil has done, because ultimately nothing is going to come from it, unfortunately. But the club need to, learn how to have a dialogue with fans that isn't just treating them like customers or making them feel like they're agents. It's mad. David with the super chat says, respect to their actions, love India, F the Glazers. Yeah, bang on with your comment, mate. Thank you very much for getting involved as well. Make sure you keep your comments coming in. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff as well. The domestic window closes soon, and Manchester United have a few youngsters that could benefit from moving on loan, on a season-long loan, and getting regular first-team football. AdamMcKola's name's come up in one of these articles, which is incredible, because a lot of us thought that he was going to stay at Manchester United and fight for a spot. Now that may still be the case, but his name has come up in articles suggesting United may seal a few loan deals in the next coming days before the deadline shuts for the domestic transfers. Now, me personally, I'd keep him until at least January. When you look at Harry Maguire's situation at the moment, Eric Bailly's injury past, Lindelof's form, Twanzebe's injury past, we've got Rojo and Jones still on the books, but what are they doing at the moment? Nobody fucking knows. So we've got all these players, but none of them are actually guaranteed to be able to stick around for too long or to keep form. So I don't think keeping AdamMcKola would be the daftest thing to do until January. We're in October already, the middle of October. You got 2.5 months until January. I don't think it would be bad to keep him. Ethan Laird, on the other hand, you've got, Ethan Laird. You've got there in front of him Aaron Wan-Bissaka. You've got Brandon Williams, Alex Telles, Luke Shaw, Timothy Fosu-Mensah's in the mix as well. So maybe even letting Ethan Laird leave on loan could be a benefit for him. I've just mentioned Timothy Fosu-Mensah. Him leaving could be a benefit for him. So there's some moves that could happen from United in the coming days in terms of potential loan deals and the like. Saikat has said with the super chat, whatever the fans do will have no impact on the Glazers. They live in their bubble and couldn't care less about criticism from fans. They've made their millions and will continue to do so. Love from Kolkata, India. And that's true as well. I mean, we see it in this Project Big Picture idea where the Ed Woodwards and the Glazers are coming together with the owners of Liverpool and Arsenal and Chelsea to try and grab more power in the Premier League and in these commercial deals and TV deals that are going to be popping off. And we've seen it recently, and it's interesting that it's happened because it shows that the Glazers aren't interested in probably going anywhere anytime soon, and it shows you where their loyalties lie. They want to make money, simple as that. They don't care what the fans think. Whether you're someone that goes to games or not, whether you're someone that runs a supporters club or not, they don't give two shits. Bruno insists there's no issue with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. There were reports in the last couple of days that Bruno Fernandes had said that he was unhappy with the manager and he was unhappy with the way things were going at Old Trafford, but he has come out and rubbish talk of a bust-up, and he said, keep your name out of my mouth, basically. He said, do not use my name, my colleagues or the coach to make trouble at Manchester United, sounding like a real skipper. Bruno Fernandes rubbish talk of a bust-up with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer following the drubbing by Spurs. He said Bruno Fernandes has emphatically quashed talk that he became embroiled in an argument with Solskjaer during United's humiliating defeat against Tottenham. He went on to say there's been a lot of speculation about that. First, it was discussion with teammates, as it did not stick. It was a discussion with one teammate, Victor Lindelof, did not stick. And now it's a discussion with Solskjaer. I imagine it means argument. I believe it is a way to destabilise the group. What was said is in no way true. I was replaced at half-time by a technical option. Imagine that means tactical decision. The coach told me that the game was almost over and that we would have a lot of games ahead of us. I got it. I was not satisfied, but I said nothing that could harm the group. He went on to say, do not use my name, my colleagues or the coach to make trouble at Manchester United. The atmosphere is good and the team is ready to give an answer in the next game. And talking about the next game, Pellistri and Alex Telles have met up with their teammates in the last 24 hours, first time at Carrington. And we've seen Pellistri and Alex Telles there. Hopefully they'll be getting acquainted with their teammates and ready for that game against Newcastle on Saturday. We have put a video up already ahead of that game, suggesting how we could line up without Cavani, without Martial, and with Alex Telles potentially in the side. So you can go and check that out after we're finished here. But Bruno Fernandes's words were great to hear from him. Obviously, I expect some disappointment. I expect some anger. I expect some heated words to be said at halftime when you're getting battered like that. And I want it to happen. I want to hear it from our team. And I want to hear it from our players. I don't want them to be accepting drubbings like that. And I expect players to be angry. It's what happens. But I'm not concerned by it. If anything, I'd be concerned if it wasn't going down. So I'm happy with that, and I'm happy with the way Bruno Fernandes has come out and addressed it. Even if it was true, he hasn't allowed the story any time to linger. So fair play to him, Bruno. I like him. I've liked what I've seen from him since he arrived at the club, both on and off the pitch, and both as a leader as well as a player. Top-notch addition, I think. But yeah, guys, thank you for tuning in to United Daily Live. This has been AdamMcKola TV. Make sure you subscribe and like and comment and share. Remember, this show is daily at 10:30 p.m. Obviously, today we were a little bit late. I do apologise for that. But we'll be back soon with more content. We've got the Newcastle preview coming up for you as well. And we've got loads more coming up. So keep it locked. Like, comment, share, subscribe, join. Thank you for tuning in. You're absolute legends. See you in a bit.